You'll die broke if you keep thinking like this. And no, that's not an insult. It's a diagnosis. The symptoms? You wait for motivation, you scroll past opportunity, you dream more than you do, and worst of all, you believe you're current. Life is just how things are. That's the real killer. Not your job, not your income, your mindset. That invisible virus wrapped in excuses, laziness, and fear dressed up as realism. Let me say it plain. You don't have a money problem. You have a meaning problem. You've assigned the wrong meaning to everything. Pain, you run from it. The rich, they chase it. Rejection, you avoid it. The rich, they crave the feedback. Failure, you call it the end. They call it the blueprint. That's why they win. That's why you don't. You think success is some grand event, a viral video, a big break, a lucky turn. But the truth? Success is boring. It's repetitive. It's brutal. It's showing up when no one claps, practicing in silence, training in the dark, planning while everyone else is partying. You're not poor because you're unlucky. You're poor because you still think you need to feel good to take action. Let me break something inside you right now. That soft little whisper that says, you're doing your best. You're not. You're doing what's comfortable. There's a difference, because doing your best doesn't feel like ease. It feels like war. Like dragging yourself through resistance again and again, until that resistance breaks before you do. Ask yourself this. What do your mornings look like? What do your nights sound like? Is there silence where you're supposed to be thinking? Or is there noise, TikTok, Netflix, useless stimulation to numb the ache of underachievement? Because that ache, that's your potential screaming to be born. And you're silencing it with distractions. Let me give you something real. Not soft, not safe, but real. Discipline is not a side effect of success. It is the cause. And until you treat it like oxygen, you'll keep choking on your excuses. The people you envy? They don't have more time. They made fewer compromises. They said no to comfort so many times it became automatic. That's what you're up against. Not them, not society, you. And here's the part that stings. Your current results are exactly what you've tolerated. Read that again. Not what you've dreamed, not what you've hoped, what you've tolerated. You've tolerated a job that drains you. You've tolerated friends who mock your ambition. You've tolerated habits that strangle your growth. And until your tolerance for mediocrity turns into disgust, nothing will change. You scroll through success quotes and videos hoping to be inspired, but the truth is, you don't need more motivation. You need a funeral. For the version of you that makes excuses. The version that waits for perfect timing. The version that says one day instead of day one. That version, bury it today. Because here's what the rich know that you still haven't learned. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your standards. And your standards are visible in your calendar, in your habits, in how you speak to yourself when no one is watching. You don't need a new vision board. You need a new standard of behavior that disgusts your past self and demands your future. You still think you have time. That's the most dangerous lie you've ever swallowed. The clock doesn't care about your intentions. The graveyard is filled with people who plan to start next year. Want a wake-up call? Pull out your phone and check your screen time from the last 7 days. That number is your future, bleeding out minute by minute. Let me give you something practical. From now on, every hour is a contract. You either use it to build, or you pay it in regret. Stop thinking in days. Start thinking in hours. Wake up. And assign your first hour to power, not passivity. No social media, no distractions. 1 hour of building something. Your skills, your business, your health, your empire. This is not a motivational video. It's a warning that the man you're becoming is being shaped right now by how you spend your time, by what you tolerate, by what you allow. And if you don't get aggressive about your future, your comfort zone will bury it. Start your attack plan with this. Kill one excuse today, just one. Write it down. Destroy it. Replace replace it with an action. Don't negotiate. Don't wait until Monday. One excuse gone, one habit born. That's how a rich life starts. In tiny, bloody sacrifices that the world never sees. You want legacy? You want wealth? You want freedom? Then stop acting like a spectator. You are the show. You are the builder. And every moment you delay is a brick you never laid. You'll die broke if you keep thinking like this. But you'll live unstoppable if you start acting like this. You think pain is the enemy. You think stress, pressure, discomfort are signals to back off, slow down, breathe. That's why you lose. That's why you stay stuck. Because the rich, the relentless, the rare ones, they interpret pain as progress. Discomfort isn't a red light to them. It's a green one. A sign that they're growing, evolving, stretching into a version of themselves they haven't met yet. Meanwhile, you're still trying to feel good all the time. Still measuring your life by how soft your days feel instead of how sharp your mind gets. Let me burn this into your brain. Your next level will not feel safe. It will feel like death to the part of you that's addicted to mediocrity. Most people think they need more motivation. They don't. They need more clarity, not on their goals, but on their standards. Because when your standards rise, your tolerance for laziness dies. You can't binge garbage content when you see your time as a weapon. You can't hang with weak minds when you see your mission as sacred. That shift, it happens the moment you stop asking, "How do I feel?" and start asking, "What does this moment demand?" The rich don't chase dopamine, they chase domination of their schedule, their emotions, their execution. Here's the truth. You've been lied to about balance. They told you to find it. The rich, they create imbalance on purpose. They go all in. They obsess. They sacrifice. Balance is for maintenance. Imbalance is for growth. When you want to build an extraordinary life, you don't seek comfort. You seek obsession. That's how fortunes are built. That's how legacies are born. Not by dabbling, not by hedging your bets, but by burning the ships, cutting the safety nets, and betting everything on your future self. You want to change your life. Change what you celebrate. Stop clapping for minimum effort. Stop rewarding yourself for showing up late to your own destiny. Start honoring pain. Start treating discomfort like a badge. The rich don't need applause. They don't need external validation. They validate themselves every time they choose the harder path, the longer route, the tougher battle. Because they know something you keep forgetting. Ease is a trap. Comfort is a prison. And your potential? It's hiding behind the very discomfort you keep avoiding. Still listening? Then prove it. Pause this video. Right now. Grab a piece of paper and write down the 3 habits that are keeping you broke. The patterns, the reflexes, the behaviors. You repeat like rituals of failure. Write them. Stare at them. Then make a vow, a real one, to replace each with a new ritual. A ritual that hurts. A ritual that forces growth. Because that's the real flex. Not money, not status, not likes. The ability to do what needs to be done, even when every cell in your body screams for comfort. You want to join the 1%? Then act like one. The 1% study when others sleep. They train while others party. They build while others scroll. Not because they're superhuman, because they're focused. Focused on war. Focused on winning. Focused on the legacy that will speak louder than their name ever could. And if you're not there yet, that's fine. But don't lie to yourself about why. Don't blame the market. Don't blame your parents. Don't blame your circumstances. Own it. Then obliterate it. Because every second you stay the same, you betray the future that's trying to find you. You still think the world will reward your intentions. It won't. The world only pays those who show proof, and your proof is action. Relentless, uncomfortable, invisible action. The stuff you do when no one is watching. When it's boring. When it's thankless. That's where the millionaires are made, in the dark, long before the spotlight ever hits. You're still waiting for applause to start performing. They perform until the applause has no choice but to show up. That's the difference. And don't get it twisted. You don't get rich by watching videos about getting rich. You get rich by becoming allergic to distraction, by building brick after brick when everyone else is debating which blueprint to use. The rich aren't smarter than you. They're just more obsessed, more relentless, more willing to suffer daily embarrassment, rejection, and discomfort to chase what they know is theirs. Let me tell you something hard. If your family never taught you about money, that's not your fault. But staying broke because of that is. Generational poverty ends when one person gets angry enough to change. Not inspired, angry. Angry at being lied to. Angry at being average. Angry at being overlooked. That anger, use it. It's fuel. Channel it into obsession. Obsession with learning, with failing forward, with repeating the boring rituals that no one sees but everyone feels when you walk in the room. The rituals of the rich are simple. Plan, act, track, repeat. But you plan, panic, procrastinate, and then pretend you never really wanted it. You say things like, money isn't everything, while your bank account argues otherwise. You say, success isn't worth it, because deep down you're terrified you don't have what it takes. But let me tell you the truth, you do. You just haven't earned your own trust yet. So here's the next assignment. For 7 days, track every hour of your life. Use a notebook. Label each hour, built or bled. Did that hour build your future? Or did it bleed it out? No gray areas, just brutal clarity. At the end of each day, count the damage. You'll be shocked at how much you've tolerated. And that shock, that's your starting point. That's the real day one. Because if you don't document your reality, you can't escape it. And if you don't master your hours, you'll always be a slave to someone else's. Now listen carefully. This is the part that most people will never do. Not because it's hard, but because it's honest. Brutally honest. I want you to take everything we've covered and make it visible. Not in your head, not in your heart. On paper, you need to create your wealth war map. A single page. A battle plan. What are your 5 non-negotiables every single day? What are the habits that, if executed without compromise, will drag you out of mediocrity? List them, rank them, and then live them. Because without that map, your mind will default to weakness. It will wander, it will forget. And if you forget your mission even for 1 hour, you'll be seduced by the noise of the weak. That's why the rich track. That's why they write. That's why they review. Because in a world designed to distract, you remembering who you are is a full-time job. So make it impossible to forget. And here's the ritual that will separate you from 99% of people watching this. Every morning, write your own prophecy. I'm not talking about journaling. I'm talking about scripting your future. In past tense. I built my empire. I broke every limit. I became the kind of man whose name echoes through generations. Why past tense? Because your subconscious doesn't know the difference. It just obeys what it hears most often. You're not affirming, you're programming. Now let's talk sacrifice. You think you can keep your old life and build a new one? You can't. The version of you that's broke, tired, and frustrated, he's got to die. His routines, his beliefs, his comforts, burn them. Let your hunger be louder than your hesitation. Let your execution be louder than your excuses. This is not about hype. This is about identity. Who you become when you're sick of being the guy who almost changed. So I'm going to give you one final challenge. It's simple, but it's surgical. Every time you hesitate, do the opposite. Feel lazy? Go move. Feel afraid? Speak up. Feel unsure? Act. That's how you rewire a mind infected by doubt. You flip the pattern. You cut the old neural pathway and build a new one through force, through action, through war. Because at the end of the day, you won't remember the videos. You'll remember the rituals, the cold mornings, the long nights, the silence you fought in. That's what shapes legacy. And legacy is built by those who act like the future owes them nothing, and still show up to collect.